Andy, how are you? Been a little while, and I have another question for you. Hope things are well. As you understand it, what does the phrase "the crisis of age" mean in terms of Vygotsky's cultural historical theory? And what is important about his use of this term? Also, does this term differ in any meaningful way from the phrase "the problem of age"? Thanks for any insight. I think you've probably talked about this in your video on the social situation of development, but I still feel like this might be a distinct question, and my suspicion is that you'd have more to add. And whatever this crisis might mean, I think I'm seeing it firsthand in my soon-to-be 7-year-old. So I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Anthony, you've asked me about the problem of age and about the age crises. The first thing, the problem of age, is the title of the chapter in Vygotsky's collected works on this topic. The thing is, problem is a word that Marxists used during that period all the time. So it'll be the problem of class, the problem of development, the problem of education, the problem of philosophy. That's just a term they used because the idea was a topic wasn't just a collection of phenomena united by something like colour or sound. It was always posed as like a research question. Right? So they would refer to the topic as a problem. So Vygotsky comes to the problem of age. How do we know how a child develops through it grows up in age? What's the meaning of age in a child? Right? Now, crises. In growing up, a child always passes through a series of stages. And each of these stages, they're fitting into a certain role within the caring group, the family or whatever. And they behave in a certain way. They're expected to, and in a good family, they'll be able to act in that way, and their needs are met, and they grow and they learn appropriately. And they go through a smooth process of development. Right? But when they get to a certain point in that development, they begin to look over the horizon. Like they see their elder brother being treated differently than they are, or they're always stuck in their cot, and they begin to perceive things around the room, and they get the urge to get out there and touch things. Right, so they develop needs that go beyond their position, and that's when a crisis comes, because they're still being treated in a certain way, and yet they want to be a different way. For example, this is one, I don't think it's one that Vygotsky talks about, but it's an example. Somewhere around your teenagers, a teenager grows up and they've got all the values and opinions and the cultural position of their parents, right? They vote. They're going to vote the same way when they get old enough to vote, and they look down on the same people. They like the same movies. They've got all the same sort of opinions and values and beliefs as their parents. They've got to be. They've been brought up by their parents. But at a certain point, even though they don't know any different, they become aware of this situation, and they need to develop their own social position, their own cultural values, and they learn in a number of ways that they're trapped in this way, that they're just a product of their family, and they want to be themselves. But the thing is, they don't have the experience, the breadth of knowledge, a separate standpoint in order to have these different social positions, to have a reason to vote for this one instead of that one, to like that type of movie and not another. So what happens is they rebel against the parents. Everything the parents say about what they should do, how they should keep themselves safe, how they should keep themselves healthy, what they like, all these things are suddenly wrong. No, 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 you don't understand. This is wrong. Get away from me, rubbish, right? And they go through this painful process of establishing their own position in the world. Eventually, they'll probably end up very much like their parents, probably voting the same way, liking the same things, wanting to live in the same areas and so on, but they have to discover it themselves, right? They may end up somewhere different, or they may come back to the same. Doesn't matter, they'll find it out. But during this period, when they don't have the ability to develop their own social position, own cultural views, only what they're given by their parents, they have to reject. This is a difficult period. It's a crisis. And of course, it's a crisis. How can they have different cultural positions and social values when they've only got those of their parents, which are ipso facto wrong? Now, this happens at all the different ages. Like, if you read the book, you find it. The child finds themselves having to reject what their parents have been lovingly providing for them over a period of time, in which have helped them well, and they've grown up and become who they are thanks to that. They are obliged to reject it, but they're unequipped to do without that. So they're trying to act in a way that they are not equipped to. But if all goes well and the people around them respond properly and adjust their view of the child, give them the room, then everyone will readjust to a new situation. They'll learn how to act in a new way. They'll get their feet and everything will be okay, right? That's what I mean by overthrowing the social situation of development. It's a crisis, right? So what you have in growing up is a series of smooth periods of development interrupted by crises when the child changes from being one type of child to being another type of child. Smooth development, crisis, and so it goes on until they become an adult. Then they have their crises in a different way. Okay, I hope that answers your question.